cluster of Alaskan islands could be a single interconnected giant volcano. This is what the American Geophysical Union is explaining to us. A small group of volcanic islands in Alaska's Aleutian chain might be a part of a single undiscovered giant volcano, the size of perhaps Yellowstone. This is what scientists presented in the findings in December at AGU's fall meeting. And if the researchers' suspicions are correct, the newfound volcanic caldera would belong to the same category of volcanoes as the Yellowstone caldera. In other words, it would be a supervolcano. And other volcanoes that have had super eruptions with several global consequences. The islands of the Four Mountains in the central Aleutian Islands is a tight group of 6 stratovolcanoes named Carlisle, Cleveland, Herbert, Kagamil, Tana, and Yuliaga. Stratovolcanoes are what most people envision when they think of a volcano, a steep conical mountain with a banner of clouds and ash waving at the summit. They can have powerful eruptions like that of Mount St. Helens in 1980, but these are dwarfed by far less frequent caldera-forming eruptions. Researchers from a variety of institutions and disciplines have been studying Mount Cleveland, the most active volcano of the group. They were trying to understand the nature of the islands of the Four Mountains. They have gathered multiple pieces of evidence showing that the islands could belong to one interconnected caldera. Unlike stratovolcanoes, which tend to tap small to modestly sized reservoirs of magma, a caldera is created by tapping a huge reservoir in the Earth's crust. And when the reservoir's pressure exceeds the strength of the crust, gigantic amounts of lava and ash are released in a catastrophic episode of eruption. Caldera-forming eruptions are the most explosive volcanic eruptions on Earth, and they often have had global effects. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box. And these are just 2 of the volcanoes in the Aleutian Island chain. So there are the explosive volcanic eruptions on Earth having global effects. Ash and gas they put into the atmosphere can affect Earth's climate, triggering social upheaval. For example, the eruption of nearby Okmok volcano in the year 43 BC has been recently implicated in the disruption of the Roman Republic. So that Alaskan volcano eruption had to do with the disruption of the Roman Empire in Italy and Europe. The proposed caldera underlying the island of the Four Mountains would be even larger than Okmok, and if confirmed, it would become the first in the Aleutian Islands that is hidden underwater, said Diana Roman of the Carnegie Institute for Science in Washington, D.C., who is the co-author of the study. She said, "We've been scraping under the couch cushions for data," she was referring to the difficulty of studying such a remote place. She said, "But everything we look at lines up with a caldera in this region." Despite all these signs, Roman, along with John Power, a researcher with the U.S. Geological Survey at the Alaska Volcano Observatory and the study's lead author, maintained that the existence of this caldera is not by any means proven. To do that, the study team will need to return to the islands and gather more direct evidence to fully test their hypothesis. Roman said, "Our hope is to return to the islands of Four Mountains and look more closely at the seafloor, study the volcanic rocks in greater detail, collect more seismic and gravity data, and sample many more of the geothermal areas." The caldera, the supervolcano hypothesis here in Alaska, might also help explain the frequent explosive activity seen at Mount Cleveland, Roman said. Mount Cleveland is arguably the most active volcano in North America for at least the last 20 years. It has produced ash clouds as high as 15,000 and 30,000 feet above sea level, and these eruptions pose hazards to aircraft traveling the busy air routes between North America and Asia. She said it does potentially help us understand what makes Mount Cleveland volcano so active. Power said, who presented the work, it can also help us understand what types of eruptions to expect in the future and better prepare for their hazards. So you see, that's just one more supervolcano possibly added to the list of over 21. This is on Science Daily by American Geophysical Union. Please leave your comments. Thank you for your support.